Alright, so what I'm going to talk about today is going to be how important proper nutrition is. Just making sure that we're eating right and we are making sure that we're feeding ourselves before and after a workout. Just because today at work, I work at a kind of like a rehab outpatient center, and I was checking up on a client and he was fine, he was doing his workouts, so I'll go in and out because it's kind of like a group class. Then I went to go see him when he was sitting down. He usually takes a break in between his sets, and then I noticed that he was really pale and I wanted to make sure he was okay, so I was asking him, hey, how are you feeling? He was like, yeah, I feel a little lightheaded. And this not being, my first experience dealing with this, I asked him, are you feeling nauseous? Because usually that's the next step. You feel lightheaded, you feel nauseous, then you start looking really pale, and then you just pass out. So then he said he was just feeling nauseous. He was really white. I was asking if he knew where he was at, and he said he couldn't answer it completely. He wasn't staring at me. He was kind of just looking up towards the ceiling. Then that's when I ran and went to the physical therapist. The first one I was able to get, and he was able to, do his blood pressure. And I asked him if he had breakfast. He said he did, but I guess it wasn't the normal breakfast that he would regularly have. I think he just had a bowl of cereal instead of his usual oats and fruit and eggs. So we called the ambulances. When we did his blood pressure, it was under 100. It was like 90 over 50, right under 60. And ambulance came, they assessed him, he didn't want to leave, but that just shows how important it is to eat before you work out. I know a lot of people do workouts fasted. I know people do, cardio fasted, which I think is, in my opinion, is okay depending on what type of cardio you're doing. If you've been fasting for like 12 hours the night before to the morning, you don't wake up until like 10, and then you've been fasting and you haven't had anything to eat, and then you just go into your workout or you go into plyos or doing HIIT cardio for an hour, your body is going to shut down. It's going to not feel good, and your body is really smart. The best way it's going to help you is try to protect you. So it's going to want to protect the organs. So it's going to want to protect the heart. It's going to want to protect like your liver and everything. So then that's when the oxygen doesn't go to the head. That's the least of its worries. It wants to protect your heart to make sure that you're still, alive. So it's really important to make sure that you're eating. I know there's this thing where everybody wants to lose weight, and the less they eat, the more weight they will lose, and I always don't think that's the case. I always think, what's the point of losing weight if your heart isn't going to beat anymore, right? So thought of the day is making sure that we're eating, we're getting our fruits and fiber in, veggies for fiber, making sure that we're eating enough protein, we're getting our carbs in. Carbs aren't bad. It's just when you eat certain types of carbs that make it bad, like fast food every single meal. You got to make sure we're fueling our bodies with the proper nutrition that it needs in order to, if you want to lose weight or you want to gain muscle. You can't do any of that without, eating and sleeping and drinking water. So that's a tip for today. See you next time. So I am going to make food today, and usually I don't have time to prep during the day, but since today my schedule is a little bit more flexible, I'm gonna, make some time and make something good for today. Since I'm not gonna be working out, it's a rest day for me, so I am going to have more fats in my meals and lower in the carbs. So I'm gonna get most of my fats from, whole foods. I really like to have whole eggs. I do like tofu, so I'll show you the ones that I like to cook with. So this is the brand that I get. It has about 4 grams of fat in here, about for 3 ounces. It doesn't have, it has 2 grams of carbs, so that's okay as long as the carb's not coming from like rice or any of that. I'm okay with. So then I have, this is kind of upside down, tempeh. I think this is how you say it. But this is garden veggie. This one has 6 grams of fat, and it does have 10 grams of carbs, but the carbs are coming from veggies, so I am okay with that. This is definitely, I've tried this, the original version. I think it's from fermented soybeans, if I believe. It's rich in protein and can be sauteed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, what's in here? Okay, so it is cultured soybeans. So it's kind of like the Japanese fermented soybeans. I remember trying that for the first time, and it was just very different. So this is kind of very similar, but it's not as sticky. You definitely kind of have to get used to the texture of it. See if you guys can see there's like little chopped up carrots in there. But definitely acquired taste. It's not something that you're just like, oh my god, it's so good. So acquired taste. Only if you try it a couple times, you add different sauces and stuff. It's okay. And then I also have, I think these are made out of, what are they made out of? Some sort of like flour. So these are I don't even know how to explain it, but it's just these little like noodle things, and has no carbs, I believe. Yeah, no carbs, and it's pretty good. So I really like this. I add it on my no carb days. So I have this, or let me show you. I also have the shiitake noodles. So this brand, and this is another one too, where this is like different, like the macaroni noodles. So it's a different texture. Of course, again, disclaimer, it is not gonna taste like real pasta, okay? It's just something to have that's different, that will kind of give, fill up your stomach. Will give you just more fuller. You can feel more full instead of, just having the protein and you just want more volume. It's a good way of adding some more volume in your foods. So I'm gonna prep some of the foods, and you can see how I do that. This first. So I really get it dry, because it gets a lot of water gets absorbed in it.
the tempeh. I added some cabbage and bean sprouts in there. I really like adding different kind of textures with veggies. And then here is the tofu. I just got the frozen carrots, comes with peas, and then green beans, corn, and then the tofu, and I added some bean sprouts in here too. And this is what the little noodle things look like. So this will probably last me about, these two meals, probably about 2 days. So today's meal and a little bit of tomorrow. So it's good to have because sometimes I'm always like on the run. So it's always good to just have it, in hand. So then I don't have to worry about, needing to eat meals or buying food out and all that stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed a little bit of what I do in cooking. I keep things really simple. I will add salt to my food. I do like sea salt. I've experimented before to where I just took out salt and I just use Miss Dash or Flavor Gone. And you know what? I really believe in having sodium in our diet, especially since we sweat during our workouts. We're using the restroom, especially if you're drinking a lot of water. I really recommend you making sure that you're eating whole foods, making sure that you're eating a well-balanced diet, just so you have sodium coming from the foods. And, I like to add Kirkland sea salt from Costco. It takes me about a couple months to even go through this, but I am very generous when I use my salt in my food. So I always tell people to, don't think having salt will make you fat. It won't. If anything, if you add salt to your food and you're not drinking enough water, or you are eating the wrong kind of salt, like eating at a restaurant or at fast food, obviously their sodium content is super high. Then you're gonna feel a little bit of bloating and stuff. But when you feel bloating in your fingers or in your ankles and your overall, you feel like your body's in edema, then that's something that you need to worry about. Or if you had high blood pressure and doctor has you on medication or any of that, obviously that's when you should be cautious about your sodium. But if you're normal and there's nothing going on with you, I don't think that you need to take out sodium unless the doctor tells you to, not some fitness person on YouTube or on Instagram, because they do low sodium. And I wouldn't mess around with sodium like that, because your body needs it. Your body runs on sodium and potassium, need all that for osmosis and all that good stuff for your body to function properly, so you don't have headaches. So that's a little tip from me today, and see you in the next clip.